Live in downtown Detroit, Local 4 live stream with Jason Carr starts now.
And good morning to you. Welcome to the Local 4 newsroom. We are live and we have a full rundown of information ready to go for you, and hopefully your day is off to a stellar beginning. John Steckroth, producer. I'm your humble narrator, Jason Carr, and let's start with something that normally we have some fun. We're going to start with a deadly crash closing eastbound M59 at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Oakland County Sheriff's Office said this morning the road is expected to be closed for hours. One person was killed in a fiery crash. We're looking at
the scene right now. This isn't live. This is just about 20 minutes ago, and this is expected to be closed for hours. So if you're in that area, avoid M59. Yeah.
Eastbound 59 at Martin Luther King Boulevard closed for the foreseeable future with accident investigators on the scene. The president-elect took to Twitter at about 4:30 in the morning to call out GM. General Motors sending Mexican-made model of Chevy Cruze to U.S. car dealers tax-free across border, make in USA, or pay big border tax. Statement on GM production of Chevy Cruze. General Motors says manufactures the Chevrolet Cruze sedan in Lordstown, Ohio. All Chevy Cruze sedans sold in the U.S. are built in GM's assembly plant in Lordstown, Ohio. GM builds the Chevy Cruze hatchback for global markets in Mexico, with a small number sold in the U.S.
Yeah.
So this is where we're at in 2017. The president-elect is tweeting away, and it forces the hand of a major corporation. The saying was, once upon a time, as General Motors goes, so goes the country. So we've seen it already with the aircraft manufacturers and Air Force One. If he tweets something, the corporation suddenly has to respond.
Stop what they're doing and put
Stop what
out
they're
a
doing.
press release. Yeah.
All right, stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style you're used to. Do you know the song?
No.
No, of course you don't. Because it came out in like 1990.
Yeah, I mean, I was
It's been a long
alive.
time ago.
Yeah.
At 11 a.m., continuing with GM, or I should say automotive news, Ford will announce at the Flat Rock Assembly Plant. The event will be hosted by Mark Fields and will detail an important next step in Ford's expansion to transmogrification into an automotive and mobility company.
Yeah. Now, from what I understand, this is all rumors, but it's going to be talking about autonomous vehicles and their new fleet that's supposed to be released in 2021, which is really fascinating. It's good news, right?
Well, and Ford has done long-term studies. And they're not the only ones. All the automakers are concerned about the millennials' perceived lack of interest in acquiring driver's licenses and
Owning your own car.
Owning a car and driving around. If you can get on and FaceTime somebody or do a Facebook Live, you no longer have to get in a car and drive to your friend's house. You can just FaceTime them.
Yeah. Well, and the idea of owning a vehicle in the first place, 3%, you only drive it 3% of its life. The rest of the time it just sits in a parking spot or in your driveway. And they're looking to make it so that you're not going to own a vehicle, you're just going to use one when you need one.
You speak as though you're in your 20s, which you are, but you do have a beloved Lincoln.
I do love my car.
See?
I do love my vehicle. Yeah.
Do you try to convince your friends that don't have wheels that they should acquire them?
Everyone I know basically has a car. Yeah.
So the reported demise of car generations is exaggerated.
It might be, but then again, I know some younger people, I guess, so some 19-year-olds that still don't have a license.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chuck Finley, if you've never heard of him, it's okay, he doesn't exist. Employees at the Eastlake County Library had to create a fictional patron named Chuck Finley and make him an account with a driver's license, so presuming he's older than 19. Address details, the whole shebang, and then use that account to check out more than 2,000 books over 9 months. This was in order to convince the library's software that the titles that Chuck Finley was checking out, like these cats, that they were worth saving and not rotating out of the library's stock.
Yeah. This is an example of using data to come up with a great. I mean, the software was supposed to just keep these books in circulation, but this one branch supervisor knew that if these couple of titles one day they're going to be popular again, and if we lose them, then we're going to have to put all this money back into it to buy them again later.
So he put his thumb on the scale, as the article said originally. Yeah. Interesting. So Chuck Finley is your made-up. Let's remember that name.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm wondering any relation to Nolan Finley, right?
From the Detroit News. The quadrifoil 007 would love this. It's. Do you have the video of it?
Yes.
Yes. Let's take a look at the video.
Really
this thing
cool
is
stuff.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah, I know.
How'd they get my home movies?
Quadrifoil is a sustainable electric watercraft that promises a legendary ride above the surface that changes you forever.
A two-seater goes for $28,000.
28 grand.
A single-seater is $18,700.
Well, it doesn't seem. I mean, it's watercrafts are expensive, and especially brand new watercrafts. I don't know what a jet ski costs, but I would imagine this is like kind of similar to that, right?
So, does Rick Astley have his own beer?
That's what it's coming up soon. I don't think it's happened quite yet.
Do you have a graphic for the beer or no?
No, this hasn't been started yet. He's in works with it.
We're no strangers to beer.
No strangers. I think I have some.
You know the rules.
I hate to rickroll our entire audience, but that's exactly what we're doing.
All right, go ahead. You bring your volume up. I didn't know you had that.
Oh, of course I have the video. I mean, like, I was kind of hesitant
You know,
to play
I'm old
it.
enough to remember that this was in rotation on MTV. You see, there was this channel called MTV that played music videos 24/7.
Yeah, that's what I read.
And I could not figure out, I mean, when you first heard this song on the radio, I guarantee you, everybody thought it was like Luther Vandross. You didn't think it was this young guy, sort of impish, kind of Woody Woodpeckerish. You heard the song on the radio first, then when you saw the video, you freaked out because you were like, no way that voice is coming out of that dude. Look at that trench coat.
Yeah, this is a great video. Can't believe we're actually playing it right now. This is
Why, well, what do you mean you can't believe
well,
it?
because this is on the internet. This video is not hated, it's beloved, but
Ironically beloved.
yes, it's used for something. It's
To troll somebody. You rickroll
trolling.
them.
It's just trolling, yeah. And
But you rickroll.
Yeah.
You fool people into thinking it's going to be one thing, and then you hit them with the Rick Astley, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the point of all that was that Rick Astley has his own beer coming out, apparently. So we'll
Working
see.
with a brewer out in Copenhagen.
You know, he's having a big comeback right now. You know that, right? The guy's like 52 years old or something.
Like a comeback tour, like a whole new album?
He was on Today's Show like 3 weeks ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Right.
he's got a whole. He's back from the beyond. You put this in Darts Trophy. The guy ran on stage and stole the trophy.
Ken, TV's Ken found this. We've got the video here. So he.
Who's that guy?
That's just some guy. That's just some fan who ran out there and like stole the trophy from him and ran away with it. but
interesting. We have something called the Office Stare Machine. Apparently,
Yes.
a guy spent a year and a half compiling clips from the sitcom The Office.
so this is it. This is what we're looking at here, and
So that's live.
Yes, this is
so
live.
if you
This is what
type
I'm looking
in,
at.
if you go into the window and type in like anxious or concerned or scared or something
concerned. Ooh,
like concerned,
wow.
see what comes up.
There it is. Now, if I think I can get some audio on there too. Let's try that.
I don't know if there is audio. So all it does is just not randomly, but all it does is loop close-ups of them reacting
breaking the
at certain
fourth
moments.
wall and looking at the camera and having that moment. So yeah, it's Happy.
Happy's pretty funny. I've seen Happy. You can do this where?
This is the officestaremachine.com. That's all it is. All right, now how about sad? And I didn't play with this very much, but it looks like there's all sorts of key terms you can you can pull.
Sad.
Angry. So if you've got some time, take a look at that that website. That's quite a lot of fun.
Rob Maloney, how are you?
Well, sir, how are you? What are we talking about this morning?
Well, we're curious. What are we going to hear from Ford?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to work on that. I got Donald Trump's tweet that I've
GM.
hustling on. I'm working on that, but I'll get.
Rob Maloney's on it.
All right.
Let's show the video one more time from eastbound M59 at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. A deadly crash this morning, a fiery crash, and that has closed eastbound M59. This was video taken earlier of that scene as investigators continue to try to ascertain what happened there. So be advised that if you're traveling in that vicinity, then you're probably going to want to seek an alternate route.
Now,
And
here's something I put aside because we were talking about those openings, those Channel 4 openings. Take a look at this one.
Tonight from Howell and the North Bureau, Dearborn in the West Bureau, from the Detroit Bureau, Bloomfield Hills in the North Bureau, and Windsor. With Wes Sargentson, the news.
oh my gosh, was that
Apparently
Wes
we had
Sargentson?
bureaus.
Huh?
Apparently we had bureaus all over the area.
Where do you suppose the Howell Bureau was?
They were covering the agricultural, probably, news at the time.
Oh boy, that was a good find right there.
Yeah. Now let's take a quick look at our Eagle cam.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
find out
let's see
what,
Eagle
what
cam.
he's up to.
Oh look.
Yeah.
No, we have no control over this, right?
No. Pritchett Real Estate down in Fort Myers. They're the ones controlling this camera, I believe.
So they control whether it's close up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, from what I was reading, these young eaglets don't learn to fly for a good 10 to 14 weeks.
Wow.
And I don't know how long they plan to keep this camera up, but we could potentially be watching this for the next 3 months. And I'm not losing interest in this at all. You
No.
know, there's
Gosh, no.
tens of millions of
Fascinating.
people are watching this.
Can you? Well, hang on. Yeah, for like less than a week. And the eaglet has disappeared from view again.
Yep, covering it up.
All right, that's enough. You ready to call this off?
Yeah, I think that's a good
A fitting
idea.
end.
All right.
We'll see you on the TV on Live in the D.
Stay classy.